Okay, so we have learned surface area of rectangular prisms and triangular prisms and cylinders. So now we're just mixing it all together. Let's just start with number one. They've even given you the formula here. This is a rectangular, looks like they want us to match it up. This is a rectangular prism, so I'm going to use the pH plus 2b. I'm just going to write it down here in this blank space where I have some room. And the first thing that I always do is I identify, if it's a rectangular prism, I identify which side I want to be my base. It looks like they have this top side shaded. So I'm just going to use this shaded side as my base. And it's really easier to determine the height if you use the top and bottom. So remember, there's another rectangle down here at the bottom that is also a base because a prism has two bases. Alright, so the first thing that I always do is I write my P, my H, and my B. And I always identify my height first. The height is the distance between the two bases. So if I cover up those two bases, I see that 7 in between my fingers. That is the height of the prism. I'm going to mark that 7 out because I'm not going to need it anymore to find the perimeter or the area of the base. Now this top rectangle here, I need to find the perimeter of it. So it's a 14, the long sides are 14, and the short sides are 7. So I'm going to have to add 14 plus 14 plus 7 plus 7. That's 14, let's see, 28 plus 14 is 62, is that right? 28 times, 14 times 4. No, 14 times 3. 42, excuse me. 42. And then the area of the base, it's a rectangle, so it's simply length times width. 14 times 7. And 14 times 7, I don't have a calculator handy, I'll just do it by hand, is 98. So now I've got my P, my H, and my B. So I take these pieces and I plug them in here. So P is 42, my height is 7, plus 2 times my B is 98. So if I do that by calculator, I'll use my phone calculator, I get 42 times 7 plus 2 times 98, I get 490. 490 yards squared. Alright? This one is a cylinder, so I'm going to use this formula. So I'm going to write my formula down here. S equals 2 pi r squared plus 2 pi rh. Looks like a really nasty little formula, but it's really very simple because all I have to do is plug in an r and an h. I don't have to go figure out what the p is or figure out what the b is. It's all right here for me. So this is my r and this is my h. So now I just plug that in. 2 times pi times 7 squared plus 2 times pi times 7 times 11. And then if I do that on the calculator, again, I don't have one of those fancy ones handy, but I'll just do it here. It's the same thing basically. I'm going to do 2 times pi times 7 squared plus 2 times pi times 7 times 11. And I get 791, we'll say 0.7. 791.7 inches squared. All right, and then number 3, it's a prism, so it has the same formula as the rectangular prism. We've just got a different base this time. This time, my base is the triangle, right? Because it's a triangular prism, so that means that my bases are triangles. Okay? So I'm going to go ahead and write my formula here, PH plus 2B. I'm going to come down here, give myself some separate space to do P, H, and B. I always start with the H. The H is the distance between the two bases. And remember, there's another triangular base. You know, I'm probably not drawing this very well back here, right? So the distance between the two bases is 14. It's that distance there between my fingers. So this is my height, 14. So I'm going to mark that out. I don't need it anymore. So now I'm focusing in on this triangle. If it helps, pull that triangle out of the picture and draw it. They're telling us this is 13, 13, and 10. And this thing has a height of 12. This is not two separate triangles. They're drawing this right here to show you that the height of it is 12. Remember, the base and the height have to be perpendicular to each other. That's why they've drawn this square right here, to show you that that's a right angle, so that means that this is the base and this is the height. Alright, so the perimeter of this whole triangle would be 13 plus 13 plus 10. 26 plus 10 is 36. And the area of the base, it's a triangle, so that's base times height divided by 2. The base of this triangle is 10. The height is 12. And we're going to divide that by 2. So that equals 60. 10 times 12 is 120. 120 divided by 2 is 60. Now I've got my P, my H, and my B. I take my pieces, I plug them back in up here. P is 36 times H is 14 plus 2 times 60. And then I'm just going to put that into the calculator. 36 times 14 plus 2 times 60. 624. 624 feet squared. So you just determine what the figure is and find the formula and find the pieces that you need and plug it in. That's it.